To me, boxing is less sport than cockfighting, because human beings are trying to destroy each other's brains.
Don't you see any element of sport, any element of grace in it at all?
Surely, there's grace, there's skill, speed, bravery, cunning, all of those wonderful things. But the data that began to come out in 1982 changed it all, as far as we're concerned.
Which shows what?
That a very high percentage of people who engage in boxing for a substantial period of time with many bouts will sustain significant chronic brain damage. That's new.
Even the successful, quote, successful boxers?
Probably especially successful boxers, because the ones who are no good at it probably stop.
Hold on a second. Just let me put this sort of scenario to you. Let us say I was a lot bigger, okay? Still went to medical school, but I was maybe 210 pounds and fast. So I joined a football team, right? Now I know by going for a guy who's about to catch a ball that I can break all his ribs, right, or even break his neck, okay?
If he was a good sportsman, you wouldn't do that. You would only apply whatever force was necessary for him to drop the ball.
Well, tell that to the refrigerator, right?
The difference is profound ethically. The purpose of a boxing match is to win by annihilating your opponent, by rendering him incapable of responding, preferably out cold on the canvas. Now, that is wrong. My advice to Dr. Crystal would be to give up this ridiculous folly that he's getting into.
I don't contribute to the elitism which is associated with the medical profession. I refuse to contribute to that because, as far as I'm concerned, a professional boxer is good at what he does. It just can be just as competent as a physician.
You say that that boxing as a profession is distinguished as medicine as a profession, but boxing does have a reputation, fully earned, by the way, for being a very seedy sport.
Yes, because where money is involved, I think that draws all kinds of filth, you know. I mean, I don't think that's confined to boxing.
You mean, do you think there are as many seedy doctors as there are boxing promoters and managers?
Probably, yes, because the bills they send to some patients are incredible.
Terry Crystal is confident that he will know when to hang up his gloves, and anyway feels that the public's idea of the punch-drunk boxer is a myth.
Yes, Norman Mailer had a comment, hope you don't feel offended by this, but he noted that most journalists were probably more punch-drunk than any boxer he'd ever met, because of the fact that they were drunk, smoking, staying up late, generally following a completely unhealthy life. And so he actually had a contempt for those who would condemn an individual for engaging in a sport which he liked.
Well,
and he hadn't met any punch-drunk boxers. I haven't met any, to be honest with you, in my day.
There's no question that two highly skilled, well-trained athletes in a boxing ring is really quite an elegant spectacle at its best.
It has been called chess with muscles, apparently.
But, having said that, it's basically a caveman contest.
Well, now, at its worst, obviously, boxing can be, a horrible spectacle where you see two fighters who have no skill whatsoever just going at each other, right? That happens.
Crowd loves that.
Yes, they go for it. George Bernard Shaw actually said that the crowd was probably the most dangerous, more dangerous than the fighters in the ring. At least the fighters in the ring knew what they were about.
If he was your kid, would you let him fight?
To be perfectly honest with you, I would say no. Stay with your medical profession.
But I will say this. It's a dream that he has. He's had this dream. And who are we to say, we don't want you in the gym, we can't help you? But we'll protect him. You can be sure of that. And to try to protect him from getting hurt.
Terry Crystal, as they say, wants it all. Success in the ring and success in the surgery. He has one more set of medical exams to pass if he wants to stay and practice in this country. Whatever spare time he has, he practices the piano at a nearby nurse's residence. Among his accomplishments is a degree from the Royal Irish Academy of Music. and he haunts the Boston Museum of Fine Arts. These are not interests one associates with the sweet science of boxing. But Terry Crystal sees the boxer as artist.
You could say that this gymnasium is like a studio for an artist. An artist paints, but then only now and again does he actually have an exhibition. So on that day, then, people can see his work. Same with a boxer. He trains here, he learns his skill, develops his strength, then goes into the ring and performs as well as he can.
The doctor would prescribe boxing for all young men as an antidote to the soft life and easy access to drugs and alcohol. He's also fascinated by the risks of boxing, the thrill of living on the edge. His most recent risk was taken in Las Vegas, a scheduled 6-rounder with middleweight Milton Bush. Portrait of the intern in his operating room, complete with the nurse and the patient.
You get this guy. But when you knock him down, for Christ's sake, don't come after him. Let the referee stand up. Right hook to the ribs. Hand up, try that right hook to the chin.
The treatment was effective, if somewhat harsh, but the operation was a success. Technical knockout in the 6th.
The winner by a TKO and still undefeated, Dr. Terry Crystal.
Dr. Terry was pleased, and of course the promoter, Bob Aram, was pleased.
There's not a doctor in the world that can beat him.
You had that guy on the ropes 3 times. He was clearly very badly hurt. Did you feel any compassion for him at any time?
No, in a fight, I know he can do the same to me. So that's it. I know it might sound brutal, but that's the sport, you know, and it's honest. It doesn't make any claim to be otherwise.
Terry Crystal didn't prove much with this bout. Milton Bush was not exactly Marvin Hagler. Goody and Pat Petronelli believe in him, but more as a man with a dream than in the dream itself.
Would the happiest words you could hear from him be, Pat, I'm quitting?
I'd like to see him get it done. I would. And Goody and I will work on that in time.
For the time being, Terry Crystal is still fighting. Since we finished filming, he won one in a knockout and lost one on points. He also passed his medical licensing exam and can now begin his residency in the United States.
You know, in the 40 years I've been in this business, I run into some pretty tough customers. The toughest, people who buy luxury cars. They want everything. So we're going to give them what they want. Our new Crystal Key Owner Care program. For 5 years or 50,000 miles, you put in the gas, do the normal upkeep, and Chrysler will do everything else. 5 years, whatever goes wrong, it's on us. Engine, air conditioning, steering, electrical, everything. No deductibles, no ifs, ands, or buts. In the 6th and 7th year, we still give you engine, powertrain, and outer body rust-through protection. And by the way, if you need anything, there's even a 24-hour hotline. But here's the best part. The Crystal Key program starts right now with the new Chrysler New Yorker and Landau. Not even Rolls-Royce or Mercedes can match it. What's it take to be the best? You got it. Everything.
If you thought you had to give up comfort to get a close shave, Norelco says, think again. Their revolutionary shaving system shaves skin close in a way that's incredibly comfortable. As the hair enters the chamber, the patented lift and cut system lifts each hair and holds it a split second before a blade cuts it. So it's possible to shave skin close without the blades even touching the skin. Norelco Rotitract, where close and comfortable come face to face.
What's up?
Monday, Kate and Allie moved to their new time at 8, 7 Central and Mountain.
Got it? Got it.
Inside Kansas City's #1 television station is the most powerful weather forecasting system in the 2-state area, incorporating sensitive radar with the highest detail in satellite imaging. It's Storm Track 5, giving you the clearest picture of storms on the move. And it's coupled with the most important forecasting tool of all, meteorologist Mike Thompson. Storm Track 5 and Mike Thompson, together to give you the clearest weather picture in Kansas City. Only on KCTV 5, where we always take you one step further.
Newspaper and television correspondents of the White House complain that President Reagan hasn't had enough press conferences. Are the reporters right? Well, here are the statistics on presidential press conferences, beginning with Franklin D. Roosevelt. He had a total of 998 press conferences. Of course, he was in office for 12 years, but still that's an average of 83 a year. Truman had 324, an average of 40 a year. But look at these statistics. Nixon only had 37, averaging 6 a year, and that's what Reagan has had, only 6 press conferences a year while he's been in office. President Reagan seems to prefer the helicopter press conference because he can't hear the questions and the reporters can't hear the answers with the helicopter's engines running, the blades whirring, the dog barking, and the tourists singing "God Bless America." There are some questions I've wanted to ask the President myself, and I thought while the engines are still running, this might be a good occasion. Mr. President, how do you feel about the Iran report? Mr. President, if you could run for a third term... Mr. President, are the budget... Mr. President, you seem to be limping. Are you a lame duck?
Look, wait a minute. I'm going to take that one question that you just...
It's a funny thing about our presidents and the press. Reporters make some mistakes, but by the time a president has been in office a few years, the American people seem to have a more accurate opinion of what he's really like than he has of himself. Relax and enjoy it, Mr. President. Thanks for talking to us, Mr. President.
During our story a week or so ago on the unfair way a lie detector test was administered to a Houston, Texas woman, we clearly said that she was in the custody of the Harris County Sheriff's Department. But the Houston Chief of Police thinks we didn't say it clearly enough. He wrote, "We have received numerous phone calls from viewers who got the impression that it was the Houston Police Department that was involved. They weren't, and we're happy to clear it up." I'm Mike Wallace. We'll be back next week with another edition of 60 Minutes.
I used to go crazy. Boy, we were making a lot of long-distance calls. Who knew AT&T would come through with these new calling plans? Introducing Pro America 2 and 3 calling plans. Now we save money on every long-distance call we make. We get detailed billing, and we don't need special lines. What's this? Make a phone call. Paper costs money.
From equipment to networking, from computers to communications, AT&T is the right choice.
Nobody throws Rich Sabian in a pool and lives to tell about it.
There's only one camera system you can buy that lets you hold the picture in your hand while you still hold the feeling in your heart. The Polaroid Spectra system.
Say cheese, Rich.
If you feel like you're not really in control of your insurance planning, you should talk to a MetLife representative. Get Met with Pace.
Gus, Jack.
What's up, Cinderella?
Surprise.
That's me.
That's you.
That's Gus. That's yours.
When you buy a $5 book of McDonald's gift certificates, you'll get something extra. Either a free Gus or Jack, the 2 adorable mice from Walt Disney's classic movie Cinderella, now playing in theaters everywhere. They make great gift decorations, fun ornaments, and cuddly play pals. You can get either Gus or Jack with a $5 book of McDonald's gift certificates.
And happy holidays from Jack, from Gus, and Hot.
Cuban inmates released their hostages at a federal prison in Louisiana today will have that